Welcome, dear traders. You are watching a recap of the Asian trade on February 24. Stock markets in Australia and in New Zealand gained ground on Friday, supported by the optimistic mood on Wall Street. Japan's stock indexes surged on a Friday as the Bank of Japan Governor nominee Kazuo Ueda delivered his first speech. And this week, markets of the Asia-Pacific region were mainly trading under the influence of expectations and rate decisions. Markets have finally got the results of the Fed's meeting minutes and evaluated comments of Fed representatives. In Australia, Philip Lowe, the governor of the Reserve Bank of Australia, presented a report on the government. And just recently, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand held a meeting. Today, the incoming governor of the Bank of Japan, Kazuo Ueda, made his first statement, outlining future steps in the monetary policy. Notably, on February 7, the Reserve Bank of Australia raised the rate to a 10-year high, while New Zealand lifted the rate by half of a percentage point. In the meantime, it seems that the Japanese central bank will maintain its dovish stance. As the FOMC minutes revealed, the US Federal Reserve is determined to continue its fight against inflation until it brings it down to the target level of 2%. The tightening cycle in the United States is far from being over, and this is what gives the dollar support. Trading against the basket of 6 major currencies, the US dollar closed yesterday's session at the level of 104.60, and this is where it's found today as well. All in all, the greenback stays mostly bullish against its major rivals. Apparently, the US dollar still enjoys the status as the world's leading currency, even despite the uncertain future of the Fed's monetary policy and the mixed economic data coming from the United States. Besides, the strong labor market and elevated consumer spending proved that inflationary pressures are still in place. This means that the greenback holds on to its upside momentum. At the start of the Asian session, the US dollar index was consolidating in the narrow range of 104.40 and 104.60. The quote is likely to stay in this channel throughout the day until the data on personal consumption and spending is out later in the North American session. Meanwhile, in Japan, the report on inflation showed that consumer prices surged to 4.3% in January compared to the previous year, against the backdrop of expensive imports and a weak yen. Inflation in Japan has hit its highest level in 40 years. So, core consumer inflation has now exceeded the Bank of Japan's 2% target for 10 straight months. However, the new Bank of Japan governor considers the current monetary policy appropriate and necessary. Kazuo Ueda explained that accelerated inflation is backed by higher import prices and has nothing to do with the domestic demand and the labor cost index, which are extremely weak. At the same time, he refrained from discussing the yield conversion control for now. The speech of the future Bank of Japan governor did not provide support for the Japanese yen. Moreover, the policy meeting held on March 9 to 10 will be Kuroda's final. In effect, all 10 years of his tenure can be defined by an ultra-loose monetary policy stance. Earlier today, the yen had strengthened to 134.40 against the dollar, but then returned to the previous closing level of 134.70. While investors listened to the bank's new head and his deputies, USD GPI showed sharp fluctuations in the 70 pip range. A reversal occurred and the pair got into a 134.10, 134.90 sideways range. The pair is likely to trade sideways ahead of the data on the US personal consumption and personal income. Its further movement will depend on the dollar's reaction to those reports. Yesterday's macroeconomic statistics for Australia revealed a surge in private capital expenditure. During the reporting quarter, the figure rose by 2.2%, accelerating from an upward revised 0.6% increase in the previous period. In the wake of higher prices in Australia, a rise in the benchmark rate in New Zealand and stronger yuan, USD and NZD-USD traded mixed. Earlier on Friday, USD had dropped to the 0.6783 low, fluctuating and feeling pressure for the hawkish Fed and a stronger greenback. The quote then recorded to 0.6790, support and resistance are seen at 0.6780 and 68.27 respectively. The pair is likely to move between these two levels until the opening of a US trade today. Meanwhile, NZD-USD failed to break through the upper limit of the 0.6206 and 0.6245 range on the back of the hawkish Fed and the stronger greenback. At the beginning of the Asian trading session, the quote ascended to 0.6423 after New Zealand's central bank decided to raise interest rates. However, the pressure on the pair increased following the New Zealand Prime Minister's promise to introduce a cyclone emergency package. Inflows of money into the market could only make things worse. Anyway, NZD-USD declined to 0.6215 in the Asian session. On this note, our review of the Asian session is coming to an end. Stay with the InstaForex TV and we will keep you up to date. Leave your comments under this video and see you in the next video.